Welcome to Not Average Cinema. Today we are reviewing Superman, the
2025.
2025 version specifically. And this is the only version of Superman I have ever seen. I have not seen him in any movie before. I have not seen Man of Steel or
Batman v
Batman v
Superman,
Superman or any of those.
Justice
So
League. Oh my
I have
God.
not seen Justice League either. So I'm coming into this with that background. So know that going in, these are my thoughts based on never seeing a Superman movie before.
I
Whereas
have
Pepper's
seen
seen them
those.
all. He's seen them
I have
all.
seen those. I binged all of the
Classic
DC
Superman, even.
EU. Have not seen any of those old Superman, sadly. I've watched little YouTube videos about them, though, usually comedic ones. But
Oh boy.
um, so I don't really know much about those. Don't have a bunch of attachment to the character. That was kind of the way going into this. It didn't make either of our anticipated movies of the year back when we made that in January. So kind of getting right into our thoughts on this, we at Not Show Average Cinema, we give our ratings at the start, and then we go through the good, the mixed, and the bad on the film. This one, like I said, not a lot of expectations, not a lot of excitement, or nothing really close to my heart with the characters. But I walked away pretty satisfied, pretty surprised. It wasn't as goofy as I thought it was going to be, as I worried that it was going to be. And I like this Superman maybe the most of the two that I've seen between him and Henry Cavill. They're very different. This one's a lot more human seeming, so I think I like that. And I'm probably walking away giving this an 8.5 out of 10. I was between an 8 and a 9, and I'm like, I don't think it's quite a 9, but 8.5 at this moment.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of came in similarly. I've never been a fan of Superman. I've always not understood it. The having like no weaknesses and stuff and just being pure good. I know there's probably more to him than that, but that is how I imagine him. Is he's just like this unbeatable thing outside of kryptonite. That one thing that can stop him. But probably other things that stop him in the comics. I've never read them or anything, so light me up in the comments. But yeah, I did not have any expectations, any high expectations going into this one, and I was also pleasantly surprised by it. I'll probably come in with more of like a 7 out of 10. I I was initially thinking a little higher, but I'm like, I think that's just because I came into it with
Mm.
almost no expectations, so that it probably was trying to etch it up for me. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know that it's one that I'm like dying to go back and rewatch. So I feel like to get up to there for me, it's one that I've got to be like thinking, I want to rewatch this one when it comes out on streaming. And I don't know if I'm quite there. It's not that I won't watch it, but it's not a priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rewatch it, I
Sounds
should
about
say.
right for a 7 out of 10. But then on to the good. We
Yeah,
have.
minor spoilers possibly. So if you don't want any possible spoilers, go check out the movie.
Yes, I read that. I thought it was comic booty. I was like, what the heck did I put here? That is not what it is. But it is a very comic booky film. You brought this one up, and I was like, yeah, that is. It feels very comic booky. I think James Gunn just likes these bright colors and vibrant suits and things like that. You compared it to Suicide Squad in that.
The
The Suicide Squad, big difference. One's the best superhero movie of all time, and one's the worst.
Yes, it very much reminded me of that. So if you liked that kind of movie, I think you're going to be more likely to like this, especially if you also like Superman.
Yeah, not
Or
with the
looking for,
violence and all that
yeah,
stuff.
it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that in it, but just the look of it and just some of the I don't know, some of the choices that were made kind of felt like that in ways, in a more PG version of it, of those ways, I would say. Um, but yeah, I actually like that style, so it isn't a good for me, but I could see how some people might want something, I don't know, if you say Marvel-y,
Yeah.
MCU-y, because it definitely feels a little bit different than those. And I guess I don't know, like the last ones, like the Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, did they feel? Would you say they were more like the MCU or like
I
the
I think they
Suicide
tried
Squad?
to be very grounded and dark and moody. Where this one's very much James Gunn likes wild things. He did Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that is really good to bring that to screen.
Hmm.
Then speaking of them in particular, Superman. I really like Superman here. Like I said, he feels very human. He's not just a stoic, perfect person. He is not overpowered in this. He might maybe seem a little too weak at times to be considered unbeatable most of the time. But I liked him. I like that it's not going to create a problem moving forward where, like, why doesn't Superman just show up and solve all these problems or anything? I feel like they did it about right, where he feels like the best, but not unbeatable.
Yeah, I would agree. And they kind of just send us in, and the first thing we do is see him getting kind of beaten. And it said that was the first time he was. So I'm like thinking of a time prior to this movie happening of when he was undefeated. Because yeah, once this movie got started, it didn't feel like Miss Marvel or whatever, Captain Marvel.
Oh,
It didn't feel like, oh yeah, he's unbeatable, kind of how I have always imagined Superman. So I like that quite a bit as well.
yeah. And his suit, a lot of debate, at least by one YouTube reviewer, did not like the suit. I've never minded the suit, except the patch on the back looked like it's kind of like an inside out, like sewed in logo, but I got to see a couple images where I was like, okay, that's a little better than I thought. I don't mind the suit. I think the suit looks pretty good, other than a couple times with maybe the trunks seeming maybe a little weird or too big.
Yeah, I think the only thing I noticed with the suit, and maybe it's because everything else was so comic booky feeling, is that S. I sometimes was like, is that even an S? I'm not 100% sure. So I feel like I would have liked it a little bit thicker on the top and bottom. Could have
Yeah.
still maybe been a little, thinner, kind of like it is, but just a little bit more thickness to it would have made it a little more obvious for me that it was an S. I mean, I knew it was based on Superman, but if I had no clue and this was someone brand new, I don't know. I think I would
That's
have figured
true.
it out, but at the same time, I might not have. I might
You
not have
might
been
not
like,
have. It
oh,
might have
that's
been like
obviously an S.
5 years down the line. Oh, that's an S. Could see that.
Got it.
I see. I can see that. And then every great hero needs a great villain. And you said this Lex Luthor is maybe the best villain you have ever seen.
Okay, I don't know that I'd go that far, but he is definitely one of the better villains I've seen, especially in these superhero movies. It seems like we don't know how to write villains for them sometimes, especially in the MCU. I guess I haven't really watched many of the DC movies, even though I guess this is now not. It's kind of connected to some parts, but not
Yeah.
connected to others. So I guess it doesn't have to look at that to see how their villains are in connection. But I thought overall he did a pretty good job at being Lex Luthor, and I guess I don't know any history with Lex Luthor and how he's supposed to interact with Superman. I have always thought he was supposed to kind of be a smart, evil kind of guy, maybe had money, and that is
Yeah.
what it felt like. He did, I don't know, it did seem like there were a couple things he wanted to do just as pure evil, maybe. Not pure
Yeah.
evil, but pretty evil.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought, I don't know, maybe his motivations at times were not that clear or
Yeah.
like didn't really make sense in some moments, but overall, a lot better than I was telling you. I was like, I feel like he's better than 75% of the MCU villains,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of villains.
Yeah.
So to just go right up there without actually writing them down or thinking about them, but
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. I think he's one of the better ones, for sure. Pretty evil, but can be kind of funny, just how bad, comically bad he can be at times, especially I think there's when he's interacting with his staff and what he's making him do. A couple of those made me chuckle, so
I would
thumbs
agree.
up from me.
Are you thinking
Then,
the slow motion, one of those things? Is that
um,
one of the things you liked?
slow.
I for some reason liked that
I forget
when he
that
was angry.
I was thinking about cleaning up some stuff. Um,
Yes, I think there
yes.
was one of the shots on that was slow motion.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know, it just worked for me. It's kind of dumb, but
Yes. And then
another
Krypto.
part of that comic booky.
Yes, for sure. And another comic bookie, you got a dog, super dog, Krypto. Um, and we love dogs, and I love this dog. I had a lot of fun with Krypto in this one. People might be upset. Oh, he's beating up Superman. This is too goofy. What's going on? I don't mind it. I put a dog in here. I'm gonna enjoy it. Simple as that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love dogs, so it's easy for me to see my dog in Krypto, and it works for me. But I could definitely see if you're not a fan of dogs, or yeah, you're maybe not what indifferent towards them. I could see this being annoying in some times.
That's
It could
true.
be a little like, okay, we did this. Could be like the goats from Thor 4. Uh, I could see people feeling that way, but for me, it's fine because I love dogs. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think sometimes it felt like he was the main character.
it did. It did. He's a big part.
He is, and I feel like there's a reason they did that.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. On to the mixed. The humor kind of tying with the dog there. If you don't like things, serious big moments to be undercut with humor, things just jumping in at the just at any moment to surprise you. There's a few of those in here, so that might be an issue. And if you've watched James Gunn movies and you're totally fine with it, I think you won't find issue here.
Hmm. I would agree. Yeah, it was a mid thing for me, but I did like a few of the things. Thought they were kind of funny.
Yeah,
But the VFX, I think that was where I maybe differed from you a little bit. I think you would have put this in the good, maybe.
yeah, I think it looked pretty good. I was worried from some of the trailers, but I was satisfied.
Yeah, and I think there were moments that I thought were good, if not like great, excellent, I would say. I really liked him. But then, yeah, there were some that just brought it down for me. I don't know what it was. There were just moments that felt weird. Like sometimes when he was flying, it felt weird to me. And usually I'm not one that usually gets taken out on
Oh,
things.
yeah.
And I don't know that I was necessarily taken out. It was just a strange feeling. I don't know how to describe it exactly. And then another part, which I'm not saying that it is, but a couple times where it felt like it was the scene was made by AI because I don't know why I thought this, but it just felt weird to me, and I was like, "This looks like this is what an evacuation kind of thing would look like
Oh,
if
yeah.
AI did it." But I'm like, but I suppose maybe that's just I don't know. Maybe all movies kind of have that if you just think about it. I don't know. But that is how I felt about a couple different times. I was just like, oh, this seems so generic, and it feels like
Yeah.
they typed it into AI and said, do this.
Yeah. I'll have to see on rewatch about that. I did not get that feeling, but
Yeah. I'd probably rewatch it and not even notice it, so who knows.
yeah.
And then another thing that well, I guess you can
You
do,
can go to you can go to
you go
your
to the John Wick, the one everyone's questioning. Even itself is questioning with a question mark there. But yeah, there was this area that they were going to kind of a few times throughout the film, and for some reason the music reminded me of John Wick, and I was just waiting for him to show up. And I'm like, yeah, the dog may need to be saved in this one, and
That's
it
true.
that already had me thinking John Wick. And then we start getting some of the music vibes, and I'm like, for some reason that's just reminding me, and that's the only thing I could think of because they did like the same music over and over, and that I just kept thinking it. And I'm just like, why can I not just think of something else? Because John Wick is obviously not in this movie. He's not going to be in this movie.
You never know. No spoilers here. He might be.
That's true. He just might be.
Yeah, I did not get that either. And then on to the subchars, also known as the supporting characters. Just too dang long of words to fit in here. I would say there's definitely some that I liked more than others. We have kind of other superheroes in here, which initially uh, I wasn't supposed to be fans of them based on their look. I actually thought they might be villains from the trailers because I don't know much about these. And I'm like, you do not make your heroes look like that. Looking at you, Green Lantern. Um, But I ended up liking those characters, most of the side characters, and some of the bad guys' henchmen, Lex Luthor's henchmen. I liked some of them, some coworkers, but then there's other characters. I feel like, uh, what is his name? Clark. I feel like his parents were kind of forgettable. We aren't doing an origin story, so maybe that hurts it because you don't really get to see a lot of them. But there's supposed to be like big moments with him and his thoughts about his parents and talking to his parents, and I just feel like these feel like generic parents. They're not like big actors. I knew the one guy. He was Otis in The Walking Dead, so I recognized him from there. But other than that, I'm like, if you're just comparing his parents, like from all these franchises, I have to think this has to be maybe the most forgettable.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I thought of his parent. I mean, I don't know that they were bad in the moments they were in, but maybe we just didn't have enough of them
Yeah.
to totally get into the fact that they were important to him. I don't know
His,
that we
his
showed it
Earth
enough.
parent, his Earth
His Earth
parents, I guess
parents,
I should say.
yes, yes. But yeah, I kind of I agree with you on there were some of the other super characters that I liked, but I think this one kind of went down to maybe bad for me for several of them. I was not the biggest fans of them, but yeah, I would be interested in seeing most of them though in possible future films if they do any, if they were to bring any of them back. But yeah, I don't know that any of them were like, wow, I would love to see a show with this character in it,
Yeah,
or anything like that. So
yeah, and
I
that
guess it depends what they were trying to do there with them.
that's true. And that goes right into the future. How excited does this get you as a kickoff to the franchise, to the new universe, kind of new, kind of continuing what was before, continuing only the things that James Gunn had worked on in this universe, but throwing everything else out. It's a relief because I thought this could be terrible. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch the future movies. But it also didn't get me like totally hooked, like, oh my gosh, they did something so cool. They set this up. I can't wait for it. There's none of that here. I actually just kind of want another Superman movie. I don't really care about some other things that they tease. Like, it
Hmm.
could be good, but I kind of just like this story.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like the only thing they really teased towards the end of the movie, I don't think I'm going to like that very much, but could be wrong. It depends where they go with it, but
Yep.
I did. It just initially feels like, oh, that doesn't seem like my kind of character that I'm going to get behind.
No.
But maybe I will. But yeah, would be interested in maybe seeing a little bit more from Superman. But yeah, otherwise, if this was all we got, I don't know that I would be that upset either. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
guess take from that what you will.
And moving on to the bad. T face, not taser face. That what is he? Mr. Terrific, I think it
Mr.
is.
Terrific,
It's a
I
knockoff
think.
of Mr. Fantastic. I don't know which came first. But this is it's not the character. I actually grew to like the character as much as I wanted to hate the character just because of that stupid mask thing that he has on there. I'm sure it's comic book accurate and with
Right.
comic booky giveth and comic booky taketh away. This is. I got used to the haircut for Green Lantern. I did not get used to that weird little. It's not a full mask. It's just kind of is a T of I don't know leather something just attached to the face. It like stops here and then it kind of a little bit here, and the lips are black too. And I'm like, this just looks so stupid. And this character is supposed to be smart. I'm supposed to think that he's in the bathroom putting this stuff on, getting it lined up straight. That ain't very smart to me.
Yeah, I feel like that was maybe the thing that didn't add up. Maybe it's the fact that the look did not match what his character was supposed to feel like. At least from what they were telling me, I don't
Yeah.
know comic book wise what his character is supposed to be like. So if it's like, oh, they totally messed it up, uh, sure, maybe that's the case. But yeah, if he's supposed to be like this I don't know, compare him to Tony Stark type character,
Yeah.
possibly get to that level. Like he just didn't have that charisma, cool look to him. He just yeah looked like, and he was acting like he was that cool character though.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't. It wasn't like he was acting sort of dorky smart. It was he was trying to be cool smart, like a Tony Stark type character. So that's why, yeah, maybe that's why it just felt off
Yeah.
more than normal. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree that I don't know. And then yeah, just in general, some of the stuff comic booky is probably where it comes in. That hairdo, making him seem like a villain. Like, yeah, just their presentation of these other people that Superman actually has on his ends up like sort of teaming with.
Yeah.
The way they first get introduced, it is such a heel, evil, not evil necessarily, but heel group feel that I'm
Yeah.
almost like, what are these people going to be bad? Turn out to be bad, or are they? And I don't think any of them really were, even though
Yeah.
maybe were some things that they were like indifferent towards, but I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, if it's just their job, maybe they don't love their job necessarily
Yeah.
being these potential hero type characters. Maybe they get sick of it, which is totally fine. It wasn't like they were plotting evil things, though, which is what it looked like they should be
Yeah.
doing
It
with
did.
their look.
It did.
Reminds me a little bit of some of the characters from Black Adam, who I also feel
Oh,
all
yeah.
seemed very, I don't know,
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
Have that evil piece to them, sort of. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. I guess, yeah. So, and then a thing, I guess, story. What do you think of the story? I don't know if we talked anything about the actual story, story of the movie, just characters and what they look like. I thought it was all right. I guess it
Yeah,
ties kind of into the Superman and Lex Luthor.
yeah,
I
kind
like what we
of.
did with Superman's character and his what we find out about him.
I feel like I don't know. And like I said, I have no history with it and no like their relationship in the comics, Lex Luthor and Superman. But I just feel like we needed like something more of like, uh, spoiler. So you can leave if you want to, but I'm gonna spoil possibly like. Yeah. Basically, it comes down to his whole thing was he wants to kill Superman. Is essentially what he wanted to do, even though we've got some plot things saying he wanted to do something else, and then just there's a total 180. Even though he had the chance to probably get rid of Superman and chose not to. Who knows why he did that? I don't know. That part doesn't make any sense, but okay. Uh, but yeah, I just didn't feel like he gave any good reasoning as to why he wanted to kill Superman. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it didn't feel like he wronged him some in some way or something relating to what Superman stands for wronged him. I don't
yeah,
get why he wanted to get rid of him.
that's true. I
I didn't
mean,
feel like he was like any part of his character said that that's what. Oh, I can tell he just hates Superman and anything like Superman.
that's true.
They
It
didn't really build that up by any means.
kind of
So I think
just
that's why it maybe felt a little flat,
yeah,
this whole
I guess.
story, because that's what it really was.
Because yeah, the big twists and turns and stuff like it's like, well, does it totally make sense? I don't know. I guess just kind of maybe like a jealousy type of thing, but it does feel pretty old school like that, like something out of a comic book or the old Adam West Batman show where they're just bad because they want to kill the good guy, and that's their whole character, and no more
Yeah,
depth than that.
right.
But so maybe he's not a good villain. He's just a good actor.
Maybe gotta give it to him then.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, I still think it was a worthwhile film if you do like Superman.
Yeah.
I thought overall it was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie. Um, but yeah, with those minor things that we may not have loved as much.
Yes.
But yeah, let us know in the comments below if you've watched this, if you what your favorite Superman movie is of all time, old school or Man of Steel. That's the only one I know. That's why I keep saying it. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on that movie theater popcorn.